All right, guys, welcome back to the Outrun podcast. My guest today is Ronnie Austion, a good friend of mine. I met him about a year ago through the store and through business. And I think we just hit it off through the store.
In the store.
And I saw that you had a clothing brand. I said, man, what's this guy up to? I kind of dug into you. And so here we are. So thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said before, you kind of want to go over your accolades, man, because you're a busy guy. You wear a lot of hats.
I wear a lot of hats. One of the things I've been doing for the last 20 years, I've been an educator for the last 20 years, from all in Detroit, in the inner cities of Detroit. So that's one of my passions, to be able to teach the youth, teach children, teach anything like sports. I play college sports. I play college football. So all those things are a passion of mine. So I love to do that. I love to do those things, teach. And so lately what I've been doing is teaching. One of the businesses that I started from off teaching was called 10 Class Commandments, where I teach teachers how to teach inner city at-risk children. Mm-hmm. And from there, I started another company called Go Be Great on Purpose, because one of the mottos or one of the mantras that I teach the kids is go be great on purpose. And I had to come up with these little cliches and these little funny sayings, you know what I'm saying? Arms folded, shirts tucked, looking like $1 million bucks. Right. Just to feed the kids, you know what I'm saying? Like feed their spirits so they can have positive things to say, and go be great on purpose was one of the things that came out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know a lot of people that gravitate to your brand from all walks of life, right? Yes. Just because it pushes that, like, be driven every day with purpose. Right. Don't just wake up with just nothing to do, right? Give you something to look forward to. I love the brand. I love the idea. I started Outrun, and I feel like our brands have a lot of similarities.
Right. So when I was doing the videos for the teachers, when I was doing these 10 Class Commandments, I asked God to give me like a catchphrase. Like, you know how people on TV have these catchphrases. I asked for a catchphrase. And it was funny because I'm thinking it was going to come in the form of me writing it down. Right. I thought I was going to be able to write this catch, but it never came. But I did the first video. And it was like, I did it in my living room, but I just had to do it. But I did it in my living room. And when I finished it, at the end, I said, I'm Ronnie Austion. Teacher, go be great on purpose, peace. And it just came out. Wow. It just came out. Like I didn't think about it. And so when I watched it, I'm like, oh, okay. Then the next video, I said it again. And then once I said it that second time, I was like, okay, I'll just say that at the end. And then I looked up like, man, that's the catchphrase I asked for, and he gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't. It didn't come in the form of like me writing it down like, Lord, give me a catchphrase. And then you're like, oh, thanks, appreciate it. It didn't come like that.
Not written in the sand.
No, it was just like.
So a lot of people, yeah, exactly. A lot of people force the brand mantra or the brand like ideals, but yours kind of just came organically. Yeah, that's great. That's a great story.
Sometimes you get exactly what you asked for. And it may not come in the form that you asked for it, but it came. You know what I'm saying?
So this is kind of like an extension of what you do with the kids in schools. Exactly, I mean, this is kind of like another avenue that you can promote. Another avenue
for it, like, you know what I'm saying? But when I was doing the videos, what I noticed was people who weren't educators or weren't even into education were getting motivated or inspired by the videos. They're like, I don't have nothing to do with teaching or educate. But with that video you just posted was like inspiring. You know what I'm saying?
So touching on that, a couple of days ago, you posted a video that really caught my eye. And you've been dropping these like mental jewels, these daily jewels, a few days now. You've been doing it for a while, but I feel like consistently these last few days, you've had something to say. And I watched your most recent one on just doing it. Just not letting the outside interference stop you from doing the thing you want to do. Whether, like you said, whether it's like starting a company or just cooking breakfast or starting a new morning routine or just putting yourself out there. On social media is the biggest thing. A lot of people don't want to put themselves out because they don't want the criticism.
There you go.
So talk about that and your idea behind that.
The thing about that was I actually had posted a video that said just go. It was about just go. And then a couple of days later, I ran into one of my friends, and he was buying some stuff, and he was like, man, I love it. I love the message. He said, Ronnie, one thing about your message is, he said, when people read it, they got to say it.
Right.
I was like, whoa. He was like, no, when they read it, they got to say it. I had never even thought about it like that. I was like, no, that's powerful.
Whether you do it internally or not, say it to yourself. Whether you do
it internally or whether you say it out loud, you got to say it. So when he said that, I was just like, oh, that was tough. Like, you know, he was like, don't be discouraged. He was like, don't let doubt kick in. Don't let the devil discourage you from I was like, you know what I'm saying? We just in the conversation, just talking.
Right.
But when I left and I'm riding, I'm like, man, I was kind of like, we only talked for about 5 minutes. But I was just like, man, that was kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of tied into what I had just talked about that Monday about just go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because when you just go, it doesn't give you time. It doesn't give time for doubt.
Right.
And all that type of second guessing to kind of creep in. You know what I'm saying? Just like with the first video I did, I said it was cringeworthy. When I go back and watch it, I
do it all the time in my videos. I do it all the time.
Oh my gosh! But I went. That was the like, because if I didn't think about it, if I didn't go then, I wouldn't have met you in the store because I wouldn't have been able to ship the stuff out. Like it just all kind of works out like the way it's supposed to work out when you go. But if you don't go and you sitting on it, you trying to wait for it to be perfect, it'll never be perfect. But on the way to get what you're trying to do, you'll learn it, or you'll pick. You know what I'm saying? Like we was talking about one day, he was like, I said, how did you learn how to do all this stuff? He was like, I just broke it down, I tear it down, and just, you know what I'm saying?
One piece at a time.
One piece at a time.
Figure out
and
what
the
you
thing
learn.
about it is you learn more from your mistakes than you learn from anything.
Absolutely.
Like as you mess up and you make mistakes, and you learn more from that than you do from your wins.
I've started more things in the last year or two than I had my entire life. And not all of them were successful. Some of them failed. Some didn't do well. Some cost me money. But here we are, man. It's like, I've got a podcast going. You got your clothing line. You got your mentorship. You've got you do public speaking too.
I do a lot of motivation speaking. I do a lot of, so it all kind of ties into, it all started from the video. And from the videos, I started making the videos, and then people started reaching out. And then one of the things that I did was for the NFL.
Right.
And it was a high school award show, but I did it for the NFL Alumni Association. And that was a big thing, like, you know what I mean? So for me, at least, coming from nothing, like I had never, like, I'd speak to the kids all the time. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times when I make these videos, and I'll see some of my former students in the comments, like, you've been doing this for us for years.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and I'm accustomed to speaking because every day I would speak to 30 people. I had 30 people in front of me on a daily basis that I was giving these messages to. Right. So what made me create the Teach the Teacher was, if I can teach 30 kids at one time, but if I teach 30 teachers, that's 900 kids that are being reached.
Scale it up. Yeah.
Scale it up.
You can't touch it. You can't not touch, but help each student one-on-one. But through a teacher, you expand your reach. Right?
Exactly.
So I want to touch on like your origin story. What did you start from? Like, because it's nice to have a motivational speaker that gives you inspiration or what, because there's a lot of like social media motivators right now, like Gary V and all these guys that are pushing like just hustle, just grind, just do your thing. But like, what's your backstory? Like, so Gary V comes from my background of like liquor store business. His dad owned a liquor store. He scaled it up, and then from then he learned business. So he took it somewhere. So I respect his origin story. Right. Like, what's your origin story? So when you speak, people can look back and say, Ronnie came from this.
So mine's is relatable to so many students, or not students. I'm so used to it. But so many people, because where I come from, people don't, I won't say make it out. I'm from Detroit. I'm from the inner city of Detroit. I'm from an area called, from Linwood and Puritan area.
Okay.
So in this area is a lot of drug activity, like it was drug infested. You know what I'm saying? When you look where you had drug dealers and drug users or whatever. So this is what we saw. You know what I'm saying? But if you the thing about it, if you're able to play sport in these areas, they kind of look out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so there's like an exit plan if you do sport.
There's an exit plan. If you can do sport, you not him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of got that the whole way. Like, we're going to make sure we're going to kind of protect him a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're going to shield him from certain things or whatever. So in that.
And you learned that early on.
Early on. I kind of caught that. Like, not him. Not that. Oh, they smoking weed. Not. You know what I'm saying? Never to this day. Still haven't. So, but some of the things that you learn in this process, or where you come from once you get older and you look back, these people were a blessing, you know what I'm saying, to have around. So this is the area that I come from. I played sport. I would ride my bike, like I stayed with my mother and my grandmother, and my auntie and my uncles, and we all stayed in one, one house.
Right.
But everybody was working, like, you know what I'm saying, they were working odd jobs or whatever. And I would come home from school into an empty house because people was working.
Right.
But I would still, like I had a paper route, I would do my paper route. And then I would get on my bike and ride my bike to practice. Or I would catch the bus to practice. And other people would look out for me. Like, bring me home, or, you know what I'm saying, if I got a ride, if I caught the bus, but if I rode the bike back,
So you had a good support system.
I had a good support system, even though we were in that area.
Let me ask you: was it a 2-parent household? Were you? I mean,
No, my mother and my grandmother.
Oh, so your mother and grandmother. So your father wasn't in the picture.
No. So all this stuff I'm getting off. I'm looking at guys in the neighborhood, or you know what I'm saying, or other people's parents, or other people's fathers. You know what I'm saying. So I'm watching those people. Stuff like that. So as you get older and you learn, you kind of see that, okay, mine is different, but I'm not lacking anything. Like, if that makes sense.
Right. And you weren't using it as a crutch, because a lot of people now, they use it as a reason to fail.
No,
because I come from this, this is going to be my outcome.
It was a reason to succeed for me. Like, it was it motivated me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I would see stuff, like, and that would motivate me to want to be like, I want what they got. Or I went to so in high school, so football got me to a point where I was pretty good. So in high school time, I went to a high school called St. Martin de Porres. This is in Detroit, prestigious high school. It was a Catholic high school. We had to pay. So my mother and them didn't have, like, we don't have the money for this type of
neither
stuff.
did we. Yeah, absolutely.
So the guys same guys in the neighborhood would help. You know what I'm saying? They would get money, so they would help pay for to school or whatever.
Now, what do you mean, guys in the neighborhood? Like they saw something in you? Or
Yeah. That's the same people who were protecting me from, you know what I'm saying? Like, because everybody else was, my age probably, they were kind of hustling or whatever and stuff like that. Sure. So they would kind of help. And, but I went to this high school and it was, you had to pay. It was kind of, I won't say prestigious because it was in the city, but it was, you had to pay for the school. Sure. So when I would go home with my other friends, like, I would get a ride with my friends, and they would, like, say, if they taking 4 of us home, they would drop them off. I would probably get dropped off last. But some of the places that they would live in, and I'd be like, yo.
And you didn't see it as envy. You saw it as, like, inspiration.
That's it. But they wanted, the crazy part about it and how the society is set up, they wanted to be where I was from. Like, and I'm thinking, like, we want to get out of here.
Right.
Because it's cool to be from the hood and from the, you know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. That's kind of like, yeah. But I'm like, we're not here by choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Romanticizes.
We're not here by choice. We here by, you know what I'm saying? The situation is not by choice.
Right.
So I would see theirs and I'd be like, yo, it's nice. 2 parents, you know what I'm saying? Like, or they dad to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? They dad to be
something
there.
That simple, just something that simple.
But it was planting seed, like, and I'm watching, like, yo, this is where you know what I'm saying? This is where I want to be. This is how I want to live. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Right. So that kind of motivated me. It kind of pushed me and drove me like, yo, I'm going to get my people out of here.
So if you never get the ability to see what else is outside of your bubble or outside of your situation, you never leave the inner city. You never leave your situation. Yeah. You never get to see the other side, right?
It's very important that we have examples. Mm-hmm. It's very important that we see people or see something that gives us the vision that we can do it. So like I can't think of the guy who broke the 4-minute mile. But before that, nobody had ever did it.
Right.
But once he did it, then everybody started breaking.
It's possible.
It's possible. So once you start seeing that, okay, it's tangible, I can touch it, then you like, okay, I'm gonna go get that. So that's important. That's it. So it's important for us to give examples to the youth, examples to people. I mean, just the youth, but just people who come from less than or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say I necessarily motivate people to, but when they see me, then I'm tangible. Mm-hmm. Like, because I still go to the neighborhood. I teach around there. So I come through there every day. Like, I still go. So when the kids and the students at my school, where they try to give you excuses, you can't give me excuses because I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did it when I had somebody in my household who was on drugs and smoking crack and doing all these things. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's no, like, whatever excuse you got, I got something for it.
So we come from a similar but different background. So I come here as an immigrant when I'm 5 years old. Right. Come from Iraq. So 5 kids, 1 mom. My dad passed away shortly after we arrived to America, and it was a struggling single mother household. My uncles took me in, so similar to your support system, where you had somebody who would take you, to the sports or to the school or make sure you got home, check on you. My uncles became my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fathers, right? So they looked out for me. And if I didn't have that, I didn't have the ability to have a job to work at, responsibilities, taught me the way, what
structure.
A structure, exactly. I don't know what route I could have taken, exactly, right? So you just need that kind of structure. So in that way, I feel like I share a lot of things with you. Yeah. But right now, so like current political division all sorts of stuff that's going on in our country. I feel like having you on right now is like a good thing, man. There's so much craziness going on.
You know what's funny is, it's funny if you ever look at my page or you look at my comments, you'll see the wide range of people. Like, because I play sports, and I think sports crosses all nationality, genders, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Because it removes everything from the equation.
It removes everything. So I play sports. So I had white teammates, I had black teammates, and then I coached boxing. So when I coached boxing at Kronk Gym, the gym that was on, it was on Warren. It was Arabs, it was blacks, it was Mexicans, it was whatever like, and it's funny because like the Arab kids like called me Unc, like gave me, he'd be like, oh, where you at, Unc? That's like cool. That's like cool. It's cool. You know, there's no like, you know, you'll work my corner a Mexican kid, like, you know what I'm saying? What's Ronnie? Wait, there's no like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I'll work the corner and I'm fighting against a Mexican kid, and I'll be like, what he saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go get a Mexican or an Arab kid. Like, what are they saying? They be like, oh no, they talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you got this, because when you treat people with respect and you treat people with integrity, then they reciprocate it. You know what I'm saying? But if I got a terrible attitude, or then it's not reciprocated. So then it's, you know, like, so I think that's why I get that whole, like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I really believe in treating people how you want to be treated. I really believe in like that certain things, like you saying, like last night they broke into, like, as you watching it.
Yeah, I try to not get political, but it's hard not to these days.
It's hard not to. As you watching it, just being a black person, a black man, as you watching it, you like, oh, that's crazy. But I know, like, the hidden part is like we couldn't have never did that. You can't, like, because of the climate and there's no way we wouldn't even got like.
Right.
Like, or we wouldn't be living to tell about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, out of all of that, only one person was killed, and you know, you don't want.
It's terrible. You don't want anybody
killed, but like, you just knowing, like, that probably wouldn't have went that way.
So to dive into like the nuance of that situation, all I know is like surface level what you saw, which is all we could see is like these pictures, these little clips of video of what's going on. We don't really know the story both ways, right? But you see this footage of this crazy guy bearded up with antlers and going through there and with a flag. Crazy, it looks like a movie, man. It's a movie, but it's really happening.
It's really happening. It's crazy because it's just like 9/11 or whatever. You'll never forget when you first, like, I was going to drop some merchandise off to my coworker, and he said, "Did you see Olympus Has Fallen?" I said, "Yeah, that movie old." He said, "No."
I'm talking about live right now on
real
Facebook.
Life. I said, "What?" He said, "No, at the
Capitol building."
Capitol building. I said, "Up in Lansing?" He said, "No." I said, "Georgia?" He said, "No." He said, "In D.C." I said, "You're lying." Yeah. So I'm like, just running to my grandmother's house to see, like, you know what I'm saying? Turned it on, and I'm like, what in the world is going on, man?
Yeah. So I don't pick a side in this argument. I try to stay unbiased as much as I can. But like, outside looking in, you see a group of, you know, all-American patriot type looking guys, people, men, women, whatever, from all walks of life. Right. And you're like, what do you have to complain about, really? Because me being an immigrant, you being African-American, come from the inner city and making something of yourself, within half of your generation, within 15, 20 years, you came from where you were to where you're at, right? You can make something of yourself without, I mean, what's the word? It literally just comes from within, right? You know, I had a leg up. You had a leg up by a good support system. But at the end of the day, you're in charge of your outcome. Right. The decisions you make. So it doesn't matter Trump, Biden, all these people. They really have no tangible effect on your daily routine, right? People don't understand that, like, that scale of government really doesn't affect you.
It doesn't trickle down.
It doesn't trickle down. Local government, absolutely. Your mayor, your governor, your city officials, that's fine. But like, people get so obsessed over like who's in power, whether it be Trump, Biden, Democrat, Republican, what tribe you're on.
What are you doing for yours?
What's your everyday?
Because if I go get it every day, and I go get mine every day, if I was to go buy a house today and fix it up and make it and flip it and sell it for $20,000. That didn't nobody, like you said, not a Biden, not a Trump, like nobody had nothing to do with that. Right. No, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and then that helps the way that I'm living. That helps the economy. That helps everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand. I don't know. People get obsessed with it, and I try to stay, like you say, free and clear of it. But that you couldn't miss.
It's hard not to.
You know what I mean? That one you couldn't miss. I try to stay free and clear of it because, like, when you start talking politics, people get upset.
Absolutely.
Politics and religion and all that type of stuff. People get upset. I try to stay free and clear of it. But you do see it. And when you see it, you like, oh, that's just crazy. Like that thing that happened with the DC thing, that was some of the most craziest thing that you'd ever seen in your life. Like, we're gonna look back and be like, oh, remember? And,
there's that footage. There's a footage of a group of them climbing over the building to get into the. And you look at that picture, you're like, what? This looks like a movie.
That should have went.
But you're right.
A week earlier with 2020. Like that
left that in 2020.
Yeah, that should have fit.
We're a week in. We're a week into 2021, man.
That's crazy.
By the way, Happy New Year, man.
I
feel like so pandemics, all this divisiveness, it doesn't end because the calendar turned to 2021 January 1st.
It just continues.
We either got to like resolve it, come together, figure something out, or it's just we're gonna have another year this like
so
craziness.
It pretty much it just continues and the divisiveness and some of the divisive rhetoric it has to come from like the leadership is where it comes from. Like
just like an employment, just like in a workplace.
I can easily say A, B, and C. Like I was watching one of the things and it was like, I didn't tell them not to wear masks. Well, I can look at it like, you could easily say everybody put on a mask. Because if you say everybody put on a mask, then everybody put a mask on.
Was this like at a business you're talking about?
No, it was like at a rally or something. At a rally, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but people are dying. Like, people just put if everybody could put their mask on, that'd be like it's like the way that you say the message. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if everybody could put their mask on, just to. I
agree with that. A lot of businesses, there's two ways to say, hey, please put a mask on, enter my business or my building. There's aggressive ways and there's nuanced ways to say it.
I appreciate y'all, man, for putting y'all masks on. We just want to keep everybody protected. That's all.
Right.
But if you're like, man, you wearing this mask.
I don't know what
I'm saying. Like, you know, so it's the way that you deliver the message. I can tell you to kiss my butt in a nice way. Right. You know what I'm saying? If I say it nicely, you'd be like, I didn't realize I just kissed his butt. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the way that you deliver the message, you know what I'm saying? But if I kiss, man, you like, you know, you're gonna have everybody turned up. Like, so we just gotta. I think people just have to. It's a must that we gotta come together and try to get, because you fear for people, like you fear for others. I fear, like I shouldn't have, like, you know, they talk about anxiety. I fear for my sons at times, like, you know, they're out here in these streets and they, you know what I'm saying, people have different agendas and different, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, you got to make sure that you paying attention to your surroundings. You got to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, or you just being friendly to people, because you never know what kind of day somebody having.
Absolutely. Yeah. Being in the service industry, so we own businesses and liquor stores. Sometimes somebody will come in, had a really bad day, and take it out on you because they need some outlet to take it out on. You know, I just write it off and say, you know what, you had a bad day.
And they might come in a couple days later and be like,
I've had countless times.
Hey, how you doing? And you'd be like, man, did you know the other day I was just about to, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't stoop.
People's like personal struggles they're dealing with. You know, you never know.
You never know. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you being in there, man, I hope you have a great day, man. That can change for them too.
Oh,
that can change it for them too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just being a beacon of light for somebody, a beacon of hope.
So many times, like, I'll interact with somebody. I went to go drop my cats off at the groomer the other day, and the groomer, something happened. We got into a little altercation, and she told me that I can no longer use their services, right? Apparently, I no call, no showed on getting my cats. So I was trying to square up. I was like, can I pay you for it? I'll pay in full, and I'll set up for the next one. I'll pay in full.
Right.
She goes, nope, my boss says we can't help you anymore. Is there anything else I could do for you? Have a good day. And that rubbed me off the wrong, like it festered in me. That bothered me. Because you know I'm a good person. I try not to to screw up my arrangements, and I did, and I screwed up, and I was trying to own up to it, pay for her, take care of everything. But the way she handled it, the way she spoke to me, ate me inside for the whole day. I was, and eventually I let it go.
I wanted to go back.
Isn't that funny how something can like fester in you? It bothered. Even now I'm telling you now because that's how much it bothered me.
Right. You know, I want to go back up there and talk to these people.
But what sucks is you can't get your cat groomed by anybody. There's literally nobody that does cats, so I'm actually out of it. But it's not like a dog. Wow. I got 2 exotic short hair Persians. You've seen them, but not everybody does them. So I'm kind of like, I'm out. Like she I burned that bridge, but I got to figure out another situation. All right, so business wise, the clothing brand. What's the next step for Go Be Great on Purpose? What's
the next step is just going global. Like that's the only thing I can think of. I can think of so many things, and I just want it to be something that people see and they just associate it with, like I got to do that. And like my friend the other day said, like I want people to be able to see it. When I'm out and about, people just like you can see it, and people are like, hey, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if they're white, black, red, green,
older
purple,
people,
babies. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know that baby can read. That be dead on purpose. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but I see it, and I just like, oh, that's powerful. Like, it's a powerful. So I think the message is for the world. And it was given, like God gave it to me. I'm just the vessel that He uses to put it out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think the world should be to the point where the world knows what it is.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Like one of my big resolutions is waking up with purpose. Okay. You know, sometimes the last year I haven't worked a corporate job in about a year, right?
Okay.
So I'm on my own schedule. I make my own routine, but like waking up with a purpose is the biggest thing.
And the thing about it is, like you said, with the routine, because when you got a job, you got a routine at a job. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get up and but when you become independent and you become your own, it's kind of like, I can do it when I feel like it, but you still want to have that structure. You still want to put yourself together, a schedule. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can hold yourself accountable to it. Like, so I keep this with me, because I write everything down. Like, I write stuff down.
Do you do like a power list? What's your journal all about? What do you got in there? What kind of stuff?
It's just whatever I think about. Like, I just have to, like, I either have sticky notes or I just have, like I got a bunch of these type of, because I forget. Like, your mind is on, like, you be like, oh, that was pretty, and I just write it down. Yeah. Okay, and before I forget it, like, I wrote something down the other day, I was like, I had forgot all about that. But if I didn't write it down, I wouldn't. It would that thought, like, it's like that thought never comes back. That's how I feel.
That's the worst. Was when you lose it. Yeah,
it's gone.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night with the thought?
Yes.
Is that what that's for? Like to write it down?
And you'll see the sticky notes next to the bed. You'll see the sticky notes on my mirror in my bathroom. Sticky notes in the car. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know you're supposed to drive and write, but sometimes I just be, driving and writing and say whatever that thought is. I don't want to lose it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I have to just write it down.
Yeah, go be great on purpose. Could have been a thing that just disappeared. You never
could have just disappeared.
Could have done nothing with it.
And nothing with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that I did it, I wrote it down.
What told you to put it on shirts, put it on hoodies, put it on merch? Like,
it was crazy because I put it on, like I was doing the videos, and I was putting sayings on shirts.
Oh, so you were already.
When I was doing the videos, I was putting sayings on shirts. Right. So one of the things was like telling the people, like, if you have something you want me to put on a shirt, just let me know. Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
So I had arrogance plus, I think it was arrogance plus confidence. Arrogance plus humbleness equals confidence. I had that on the shirt. I had a bunch of stuff on the shirt. Yeah. And then I was like, man, I'll be saying that every week. I'm going to put Go Be Great. I put Go Be Great on purpose on the shirt. And it just changed. Like, people were like, oh, that shirt. I went to Alaska on a cruise, and I wore a Go Be Great on purpose shirt on a cruise. And people was like, oh.
Do you notice people always reading your shirt?
Notice people like, like you have to catch yourself, because sometimes I might look up and you see somebody staring at you like, what the hell? Like, what are they? Oh, hey, yeah. You're like, oh, yeah, thank you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You
like,
forget you're wearing it sometimes.
Forget you wearing a shirt. So once I got it, I started getting other little stuff that said "Go Be Great on Purpose."
Right.
And I would say it in school. Like, I came up with the character Sonny. You have to cut to this and this.
Yeah, I'll put a little clip in. Yeah.
Sonny is a character me and my friend Dion came up with. And he's a student. Sonny the student. Sonny the student says all the stuff that kids say. And he's like, Dion was like, Ronnie, you should write a song for Sonny. So I wrote a song for him. And one of the things was like, and he said, coming to the school, you know it was worth it. Now go be great on purpose. Yeah. So like a lot of the stuff is like when you see Sonny with the shirt on and you see all the little merchandise, it just ties right back into feeding into the children, feeding into like that self-confidence that they need coming from them areas.
So I came from a Berkeley, so Berkeley and Oak Park area. Oak Park, I mean, you're familiar with that part of town. And we're borderline. So I went to Berkeley High, but I did know that Oak Park High was only a couple miles away, but a totally different lifestyle than Berkeley, right? Berkeley was a middle class, maybe upper middle class area, while just a couple miles away you had Oak Park and then Detroit.
Right.
It's like what separated my school's ability to provide for the kids. Like our sports were probably more
the facilities.
Yeah, the facilities were probably a little more, renovated than Oak Park's or Detroit's. And so we started doing like school of choice, so some kids could start coming to Berkeley and start experiencing different things.
Right,
and,
exactly.
And that was a good move. So I love that you do that and you try to give back. You're not just like you took what you had and you're trying to move forward on your own.
The goal is the reason I say for it to be worldwide is because the worldwide makes it so everybody knows. But it makes it to where you can make the money to give to the people who need it. Like, so I can put the Go Be Great on purpose in the community where I come from, so that the kids can have the resources and the stuff that they need, so that they can have the opportunity that I had to go to school or start a business or whatever the case may be. But to be able to give back to the people who need it the most. You know what I'm saying? And not to cut you off, and to give them to be the example, so they can see, like, oh, just like we saw the people hustling, just like we saw the drug dealers and we saw them with the nice cars. So you can see the businessman, you can see I don't have to aspire to be the drug dealer. I can aspire to be the businessman. I can aspire to be, because he got a Benz, or he got jewelry, or he got whatever it is that you see that you think is the thing for them to be, but to motivate them to do the right thing.
So business wise, you're in school, you're teaching the youth. Is there something in place to teach a young person how to start a business, an LLC, how to do taxes, how to get your money right? I just had a conversation with my friends the other day, and I said I went to college, right? And I took these business classes because I wanted to be a businessman. I seen business. Right. I want to say business management because it sounds good. Like, oh, what's your major? Business management. Right. You end up managing the place at the mall or something.
Listen, I don't know one thing from the business management class. I said, but if it was me, and when I started mine, if I had a business class, the first thing you would have to do for your first grade would be, you would have to come back with an LLC, an EIN, and a business account. That's your first.
Yeah, absolutely.
If somebody made you do that, you'll never forget that person.
Absolutely.
You'll never forget that person because that person started something you had to have a LLC, an EIN, and a business account.
Or just even a mission statement. Just start a business mission statement.
Come back with that, and that's your first grade.
I love that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll see y'all Tuesday. Bye. Don't come back till you have that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You come back, okay, I don't know what the name of your business is. Come make it up. But I was in that business management class for a year. I couldn't tell you nothing. Credit, debit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I already knew how to do that because I had I had a car. Like, but to teach somebody something that's valuable, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like after a certain grade, like, math is irrelevant to me. Like, what do you do geometry in your everyday life? You may because you know what I mean. Like, you might
very simple geometry, nothing to the level because
but you're doing like. But somebody who's on an everyday like if I know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
Absolutely. My uncles have less than a high school education, and all 9 of them have been able to run $1 million businesses. From nothing, right? And they're immigrants. And the very basic math, right?
But the very basic math. You know what I'm saying? The very basics. So once we get to, if you're not going in that direction, then if you're going in that direction, you need geometry.
Absolutely. You want to be an engineer, you want to be a doctor, most definitely. Get your degree.
Go get all that way. But if you're not doing that, like, why do I need everybody? It's not, why don't we have trades in this school where we can learn how to cut wood and like do all these things? Like, why don't we have
those in place? They have the co-ops, they have this and that, but they don't push it.
They have them out here. They have them on the out.
Interstate, they have like co-ops and this and that where you work half the time, you learn a trade.
Not at all. They took them out. Like, that's been going.
All right, well, see, that's the side I don't see. I guess the side I don't know.
That's been going. But like, out here, they got the co-ops. You can go do film. My son and them do film, and but the people in it, no, they don't have that.
See, so a lot of people say like the social disparity, the socioeconomic gap between inner city and suburban lifestyle.
It's real. It's a real thing.
Yeah,
it's not fake.
It's not an easy solution. You can't just talk about it 20 minutes and figure it out.
It's not an easy solution. It's not even. It's funny because you try to teach the kid and you try to pour into the kid, but they still going back to that home where they're being taught something different than what you teaching them. I'm teaching them for a couple hours out of the day how to do this, how to do that. I'm trying to drill it, but then you go home to something that's totally different. You know what I'm saying?
Especially now, they're not given the ability to go to the school to escape whatever situation they have at home, right?
Exactly. They're doing it at home. Exactly. And like you said now, so now you can kind of look into the house and see what really is going on. Like,
because you're watching the web.
Because you're on the Zoom. And
you told me a story we won't talk about now, but you told me a couple stories.
You know what I'm saying? You looking like, Geez, that's what. Okay, all right. So you even have more empathy for them. You know what I'm saying? Like you more like you're a lot more patient with children when you understand their story. I'm gonna tell you the story real quick. One time, I took these children. I'm the dean of the school, so I have to suspend kids when they do one. So this kid had punched a girl or whatever, and so he came like he was supposed to be suspended. He came back to school the next day. So I seen him. I'm like, I sent you home. Why are you here? Like, you know what I'm saying? He like, I'm like, no. So I put him in my car. He's like, before we go, I need to go get my brother. So I'm like, why you gotta get your brother? He was like, because he catch the bus and he had to catch the bus by himself, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. So we go get the brother. He go get the brother.
What age group is this? What are we talking?
He had to be about
like what grade?
Fourth in kindergarten, right? So fourth in kindergarten. Okay. No, I'm telling you.
Fourth grade, you got suspended.
Oh man. So I said, well, I'm taking you home. He's like, well, I gotta get my brother. So he go get the brother, and he goes get the brother, and I'm like, why you gotta get the brother? But it's not really, you know what I'm saying?
Not registering. Yeah.
But he hit me with, oh, I don't want him to catch the bus by himself. We got to walk from the bus, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. So it made sense to me.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, get him. I'm going to take him too. So we driving, and I'm like, so he like down the street. I'm like, well, yeah, I said, I know the street. I know the area. So I know the street. So I'm riding down the street. I'm like, and I'm looking, I'm like, houses on this block. Like, I'm like,
huh.
Yo, what are you like up there on the left? So I'm looking, I'm like,
okay.
Where? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's abandoned. I'm like, he like right there. And I'm like, so as I pull up, I'm like,
what are you talking, like fields? Nothing around?
No, yeah, that's like fields. Like where houses used to be.
Used to be.
This is no houses.
Wow, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, but the house that we pull up to, I'm like,
wow. So
I pull up, I put the car in park, and they jump out. They like, yeah.
We're home.
I'm like, we home. So I'm like, yeah. Damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? In my head, I'm like,
no, absolutely.
Damn. So it don't come, it doesn't come, but in my head, I'm like, yo. And then I look, I'm like, ain't no, like it's a porch. The porch probably about this high. There's no steps though.
Wow.
So I'm like, so I said, yo, how do y'all go around the, they're like, nah.
Jumped on the porch. Did the parents greet you? So you talked to the parents? What happened? What's going on here?
I'm like, yo, don't you want to jump? I just said kindergarten.
Wow.
Running, jump up. I'm like, shit.
They don't know any different. That's home to them. That's always been home to them.
So they don't know no different. Like, just like I didn't know when I was riding around with my friends, then I seen these other people's houses, and I'm like,
right, that's an option.
So the mom come out, she's like, oh, he didn't tell me. I said, oh,
that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, he didn't tell her. He didn't tell her. So he didn't tell her, and so I told her like what he did or whatever. The other one I took back. Like I was like, he not in trouble. Yeah, I'm like, he can come back with me. So I took him back. You know what I'm saying? So I pulled his teacher out. I said, listen, it's not too much he can do in my eyes to get in trouble. So whatever he's doing, come get me.
Right.
But I'm not sending him home. So if he give me I'm not sending him home.
This is the fourth grader? Or this
is the kindergarten.
The kindergarten.
I'm telling his teacher, like, yo, whatever because I know I see where he's at.
Right,
like, you know what I'm saying?
So
it's a different feeling for me. Like the empathy I have for him is like, no, he can't get suspended.
Right.
He can't get kicked out. If whatever he does, just bring him to me.
I'll square it up.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't necessarily tell her what his situation was because that's not that person's business.
Right.
But I saw it for myself, like, like that is crazy. Like, no, it was but it was their normal. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to make them feel less than either. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just was like, oh, okay. Like, it was normal for me, but it was not.
Do you invest more time in this group now because you have more personal attachment to them?
Yeah. Like once you start seeing what people, well, like lately I had a couple of students pass, killed, murdered, whatever. And it's crazy because you're attached to them. Like, I was at home talking to one of them on the phone not too long before he was killed. Like, wow. So we on the face. He called me FaceTime. Ms. Austion, I need this. I need the hoodie to go with these and blah blah blah. And, so I'm in a meeting at work on a Zoom meeting, and somebody posted. I'm on one phone and I'm looking at the other phone. They said, "So and so, rest in peace to." I'm like, "Rest in peace." That must Nobody made a mistake. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
that can't be. Mind you, I got the hoodie that he want in my trunk.
Getting ready to give it to him. Wow.
Yeah. So it's just like you're attached to these children, man. And like ours go from K to 8. When they got to 8, when they get out, they go to high school. We only in high school 4 years. I've been there for 8. You know what I'm saying? So I know like a lot of the kids. You know what I'm saying? And, then,
And that's their fundamentals of what they learn with you. K through 8 is when you learn your foundation.
Foundation. Yeah. So it's a great feeling when you see them graduate from middle school or whatever. Like, most people are like, it's middle school. I'm supposed to, you know.
Right.
But it depends on when you look at it different when you know where they come from. Like the fact that you made it, it's a celebration. Right. And it should be.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the fact that like you homeless and y'all stand in the car and you come to school, teacher hollering at you about a pencil or you ain't eat since you left here yesterday at lunch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So teacher, he want 2 breakfasts. Man, give it to him. Give it to him because he ain't eat. You know what I mean? Right. So you start learning these situations about these children, man, and your heart just kind of bleeds for them, you know. So
for sure,
I just kind of like try to pour into them and try to give them as much knowledge and information and love and support as you can.
Ronnie, I'm glad I'm glad you are doing what you do, and there's a person like you doing it. I'm sure there's many that do something similar, right. But I'm happy that you do it because it's not an easy job. It's a thankless job.
It's a thankless job, and the thing about it is the reason that I want to make so much money is for that
to give back. Right?
To give back, like I want to go buy the school uniforms, like, and then have to go be great on
scholarships, give kids scholarships,
a gym. We don't have, you know what I'm saying? Just pour into it, like, so you have the opportunities. So you got like some of my one boy, like, man, we don't have bowling, we don't got swimming. Like kids don't know how to in the inner city, they don't know how to swim. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just simple stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got kids, you know, on the house, they got pools everywhere. Like, everybody know how to swim. Like, you know what I mean? Or you got pools at the schools, whatever. Right. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying?
We take it for granted. Well, where I come from, graduating high school was a standard. Taking it for granted. You're supposed to do that. College, okay. You want to go to college, that's fine.
Middle school, they out there like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's middle school. You're like, yo. You looking from the outside, they're like, 8th grade. Like, but what they went through, you know what I'm saying, to get there, they went from this person's house, staying with them. They were staying in the car. They ain't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, the odds stacked against them. It's just crazy. A lot of times you just celebrate them for being there.
Let me ask you. So I posted on Facebook that I was going to have Ronnie Austion on, and one of my friends reached out to me and he said, "How do you know Ronnie?" I said, "Well, I've known him for about a year. He's a business guy. Came in the store, go be great." He's like, "No, he boxes under Floyd Mayweather."
Oh, yo,
and I was like, "Nah,
that's my son.
I think it."
That's my son, yeah.
That's your son?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So my buddy Jamie, he hit me up. He's talking about your son. I thought this was a totally different Ronnie Austion.
No, that's my son.
He boxes under Mayweather team?
Yeah, it was Floyd. Like, so it's funny.
That's crazy. He's going to be crazy.
That's what I
tell him.
So with the Chronic Gym, like, so I was in there coaching, like, of all the kids.
That's what tied it in. Well, I told him you did football and training. He's like, he's not the boxer? I said, he might know him. I don't know.
It's funny because my son always laugh because he has the same name. But he takes all the, like, I remember one time I didn't get in trouble. Something happened at work, and we had to go do this lawyer thing, and it was like, so I walked in, and the dude was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, man, it's like some, you got to give a testimony, whatever. I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know what this is. Right. Dude was like, you Ronnie? I'm like, yeah. He was like, you box? So he had already he had Googled it, like, right? You know what I'm saying? So he was like, I was like, oh, no, that's
You're thinking of my son.
I was like, that's what he was like, yeah, that's what's up. He was like, man, did you see? I said, no, I don't know nothing. He was like, all right, cool, sign this, man. Be good. I was like, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times.
So you got off your son's
man, like, a lot of times his trumps mine. Like, people go
funny
see
that he's related. Yeah. I thought you were gonna tell me, yeah, I know the cat. He's from another part of town or something.
That's my son.
That's your son.
Yeah, that's my oldest son. Yep, that's my oldest son.
I gotta tell him. That's hilarious. So how old is he?
26.
I'm gonna have him on. Man. I gotta have Ronnie Jr. on.
He lives in Vegas. Ronnie lives.
Oh, is he in Vegas?
Yeah, he's been in Vegas for probably like 6 years now.
So he's doing the whole thing. He's living the lifestyle out there.
Yeah. He was here and he was signed to a company here, and then during the time that he was down, like one of the other friends, Jalen Love, was out there. So we would go out there and he would box. And you know what happened was Manuel had passed away. Emmanuel Stewart had died. So when he died, Kronk shut down. The gym shut down. So there's nowhere for us to go. You know what I'm saying? So what I would do is I would just take him around to different little gyms or whatever.
Okay.
And he would box.
Keep him fresh. Yeah.
Keep him fresh.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So then I'm like, man, he kind of beating everybody around here. So
sure.
I don't know if it's me or I don't, like this is my own son. So I don't want to
You trained him? Was he trained by you or was he trained by guys at Kronk?
Javen Hill, Sugar Hill Stewart.
Okay.
So, but I would train him too. Like, so, you know, like I was the co-trainer or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
They call it the second. So he would just go. I'm like, so when the gym closed, we had to go get it. How we, you know what I'm saying? We was going to different places, and I'm like, man, this kid kind of good or whatever. But I would go home and tell him, I'm like, yeah, he kind of. She like, yeah,
it wasn't just because he was your son. It was. But
I felt like that. Like
that
was in there. Like, because
every dad wants their son to be the best.
But and his mom didn't help. She was like, that's just because you know. So I'm like, what can I do to try to see? So I was like, I didn't have the money to go to Vegas at the point in time. So I was like, okay, Cincinnati is probably 3-4 hours away. So I called.
Right. Is there a big gym out there in Cincinnati?
It's a Adrian Broner. I don't know if you ever heard of Adrian Broner. Yeah. So they're from Cincinnati. So I called his trainer, Mike Stafford. I called Mike. I said, Mike, do you have some boxing? And he was like, yeah, I got some. He was like, at this point in time, Ronnie was an amateur. He's like, I don't got no amateurs, but I got some pros. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, because I want him to box Adrian Broner.
Wow.
So I'm like, he was like, yeah. I said, okay. I said, when? He said, Saturday. I said, all right, we'll be there. So jumped in the car, grabbed my sons. We drove from here to Cincinnati. Pull up, Adrian Broner sitting in front of sitting in the Range Rover in front of the gym early. We like, so I rolled on the window. I said, what's up? He like, what up? I'm like, y'all working today? He said, yeah. I said, all right, we're going to run to grab some gas and get something to eat, and then we're going to come right back. Long story short, he boxed Adrian.
Wow.
And he did good. Adrian.
Just holding his own is good.
Holding his own is good.
Right.
Like, holding his own is good again, because he had
right.
just destroyed somebody and then ran him out of there. So we like,
oh, shit.
I'm like, oh. There was some people always like, have you ever been nervous with your son? That was the most nervous I had ever been. Like, I'm holding the ropes. And like, when I looked,
right.
my handprints was in the ropes because I'm holding them. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and when you go to box somebody else at their place, it's their rules.
Okay.
So it's different. Like, you can, yeah.
Okay.
So like normally boxing is 3 minutes, right?
Okay.
Then the break is a minute. So you got 1 round, break, a minute. Next round, but so he was like, there was like, so how many rounds? I said he can do 3. He was amateur.
It's a good sparring session.
They said, well, twin don't take breaks, so that'll be 12 minutes straight. So I looked at Ronnie like
the kid he was fighting.
Hey, yeah, Broner. He don't take breaks, so that's 12 minutes straight.
Adrian Broner, he didn't just fight one of his.
Yeah, he's fighting. He was boxing him. Like, so I'm like, so I look at Ronnie like,
he don't take breaks.
He don't take no breaks. So you guys got to go straight.
Yeah, his
through.
cardio straight. Yeah.
You got to go straight through. So I look, I'm like, and he like, let's go. Yeah. So he boxed him. Long story short, he boxed him, and then after it was over, Adrian came to the corner. He said, "Hey yo, he can go." He said he can come to camp with me anytime.
Wow, that's a huge.
So I said, I'm gonna hold you to that. He said, all right, bet. So when he finished, he went to go right to work out. I said, can he work out with you? He like, hell yeah. Ronnie went worked out with him for the rest of the time. He sat back. I called Mike and I was like, when y'all going to camp? He said, we're going to camp this date. This is the date. Sent him, blah, 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 sent him. He went to camp with him for like the next 3 times.
Wow.
But after that, he was
like training camp. Like
training camp with him. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So they was in Colorado Springs. So I'm nervous. Like, I'm sending my kid out. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
how old was he at the time?
17.
At that time?
Yeah.
So how long ago was that?
It had to be about 8 years ago. Wow. So he held his own though. Like he held his own and he was doing good or whatever. And then after that, they was like, why is he still an amateur? Man, you boy an animal. You might want to turn him pro. But he like real laid. My son real laid back. He like to draw. He an artist and he not like the stereotypical like fighter. You would like if you saw you'd be like, he do what?
There is like that.
Like nice looking guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he not a big rah-rah dude. He is same, drawing and stuff. You'd be like, yeah. But
once you put him in the ring, it's a totally different deal.
Totally different person. So he had we did that. And so he wound up turning. We wound up turning pro. He won a bunch of fights. Had a big thing at Masonic Temple had shows at Masonic Temple, sold out the Masonic Temple. And then it was like, oh, okay. And it kind of got dry and got stagnant. So it was like, okay, I'm going to send him to Vegas. And get some money. We're going to send him to Vegas.
Yeah,
so,
at what point do fighters start getting paid, right? Everybody's want to know. Not the Mayweather money, but, living, like you can live off fighting. Yeah. When does that happen?
When it depends on your amateur record. That has a lot to do with it as far as like if you make the Olympics or something, Olympic alternate or something like that, then you kind of have some cachet. Yeah, okay. But other than that, it's just like you're gonna have to wait and build some fights, and you gotta have people behind you that's actually backing you and believing in you and have the money to support
managers, promoters, everything.
Yeah, all that stuff got to be in line, like in your favor. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, it's easy to just be like and get lost in the shuffle.
Wow, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, so we sent him to Vegas, and we sent him. I was like, "Yo, go to Vegas, get away from here." You know what I'm saying? It's kind of stagnant right now. So we had been out there before, but this one time Floyd was fighting Andre Berto. This is a crazy story. Floyd was fighting Andre Berto, and so I sent Ronnie. I sent him on a Thursday. I said, "Man, I'll be there Monday." I said, "You go." You know what I'm saying? You adjust to the weather and. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's the altitude and altitude or whatever.
Right.
And I'll be there Monday. And then you can box Monday. So he like, all right. So I sent him Thursday. So I sent him on a Thursday. And it was crazy because I was taking my other son to football practice. So I'm getting a text. So I'm like, what is going on? His phone. He winds up boxing that day. So he was like, man, I did real good today. So I'm like, what you mean? I said, we box Monday. Like, he like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, but you box Floyd? He like, no, I ain't box Floyd. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, but so I got a lot of respect today. So I'm like, what in the world? So I tried to call him. I'm like, man, bump all this tape. I'm like, he like, I can't talk right now. I'll call you back. So he was like, everybody was around. Wow. So I sent him that day. And what happened was, it was this guy there. And I can't think of his name right now. He said, Ronnie here. So he was in the locker room. He was in Mayweather locker room. Okay. And he like, Ronnie here. And he kept saying it, like, Ronnie the baddest man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he like, Ronnie here, Ronnie the baddest. So I'm like, so Ronnie said he don't even, he's in the gym. He's in the gym hitting the bag. He's just working out.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he don't know. He's just getting the kinks out. He just got off the plane.
Right.
He said a dude named Skip. So he said,
what is he, a promoter? Who is this?
No, he just knew Ronnie. Like, you know what I'm saying? He knew he had a song before him. Like, oh, like
he wanted to see him.
So he was like, Ronnie here. You know what I'm saying? Ronnie. They like. So then he said, eventually Floyd came out the locker room, like came out to the shop, like, and cussing, like, yo, who the F is you and who the F is Ronnie? Like, you know what I'm saying? And get your up out of here. So Ronnie knows nothing about none of this going on. He's in the gym.
Yeah, I'm confused why this guy's okay.
So he goes and so Ronnie said he in the bag and said Floyd walked out there with all his bodyguards and all the, the big old
right.
Like, all his buildings and all his muscle, he walking around with. So he said, this him? This who you talking about? Or like, put your on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, told him put his stuff on.
Yeah, wrap up. Let's go.
Glove up. Yeah. So he said he man put his stuff. He like, he said they like, put your stuff on.
They just want to see what he's got, yeah.
So he made him box his chief sparring partner at that point in time. So it was a Russian guy. And Ronnie was like, yo, Dad, this dude did not stop coming. He was like, and then it's again.
Is this recorded? Is this filmed?
They probably got it. But again, when you go to somebody else's gym, it's their rules.
Right.
Like, so he was like, man, it wasn't no clout. He was like, we just boxing. It wasn't no clout.
Till you tire out.
I said, he's trying to drown you. That's what it's called, like boxing. He tried to drown somebody.
Take him to the deep end. I've heard that.
Take him to he's trying to drown, and he's like, but he just held his own or whatever, and blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
So that was Thursday, right? So he texted me like, yo, so I was like, cool. I'm like, so when he finally called, I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm like, yo,
that was his initiation into the
That
gym.
was Thursday, right?
Wow.
So the next day, which was Friday, he said he went to the gym. He felt good about himself. He said he in the bag. Like, yeah. He said he in the bag. He said, hey, he heard Floyd. Where Ronnie at? He said he hit the bag like, put your shit on. Like, he like,
day two.
What?
Day two, you want to see him
like, what the? He like that. Like, So he go put his stuff on. He said this day is a black guy. He said, Dad, in my head, the one thing I knew is that dude wasn't gonna be coming like that Russian was coming. He was
they box different. They box
yeah,
different.
like he was like he knew he wouldn't. He said I didn't have to worry about that.
Right.
He said so. He said, man, you see, we got in there. He said, man, I started smacking you with a jab. Bow, 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 bow. He said it was loud. Everybody like, ooh. He said Floyd was like, all right, that's good. So that was Friday. So he called Saturday. He FaceTime Saturday. He was like, what you doing? He was like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's blah, blah, blah. He's like, nothing. I'm like, where you at? He's like, over Floyd house.
Wow.
I said,
are you serious?
I said, you lying. He like, here you go right here.
At Floyd Mayweather's house.
Yeah, he like, I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah. So that was that Saturday. I went that Monday and he wound up boxing again. But after that, then they like you got pictures of him on the jet with Floyd. And,
so what's that mean? Does Floyd take him like explain boxing to me? Does he take him under his wing, become part of his camp? Like how does that work? Do you get like are you on his roster? Like how does boxing work?
It depends on how the contracts like at that point in time he already had a contract.
Is Mayweather like is he now like is he a manager? Is he a promoter? Or
they have promotion. Like,
promotion. So it's under Mayweather.
TMT. No, he's not. I mean, because he had a contract. He had a contract at that point in time with the group here.
Oh, so your son was under contract?
Yeah, he was already under contract, so he couldn't. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of made friction with the people that was here. Like, oh,
you can't cut ties with that. That contract is.
We tried to,
yeah,
we didn't necessarily try to cut ties. We just tried to like go with them to like bring
peaceful separation. So
not as piece of like y'all can come with us.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like come with us.
I'm not ditching you for this, but you can come.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But you can come with us, and you know what I'm saying. But just letting they with me. So that kind of got. So he had to sit for about 3 years or whatever. Yeah, they held him out for like 3 years. So, but now he back to to doing it and be free. So.
Obviously, he's got talent, man. That's awesome. I didn't want to make this all about your son, but somebody did tell me about him, and that's crazy. That's a hell of a story, man. You got to be proud as a dad, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That was. It is funny because he did it, and I saw it come from nothing. Like I used to be like, I don't know about this one. Like you know, you might want to do something else. Like,
so,
you know what I'm saying?
Bringing this full circle to our original conversation of just doing it, just doing the thing. You found that gym in Cincinnati. You said, "Let's go. We're gonna hit it.
Just go.
Call Adrian. Let's line it up.
Just line it up. Just send him to Vegas."
You could have been like, you know what? You're not ready. Let's do it in 6 months.
Before the time I sent him, the last time I sent him, and he never like this is the funny part about that. Last time I sent him, that story I just told you, he's never been back home. Since that time, he never came back. He came back to visit.
Right.
We had to send his stuff, ship his car.
He's lived in Vegas since then.
Wow.
Good for him, man.
But the time before that, like this is people don't see like the work that the times before that, we went like 2 or 3 times before that. Like we were struggling, like where I wouldn't eat in the morning. Like because we only had so much money. I'm staying in a hotel like trying to get seen, like trying to get it. The opportunity that when he got seen by Floyd, he never had that prior to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had been out there 3 times, like spending money and trying to
And it never worked. It never aligned.
Never worked. So he was here and it was just nothing being done. I just sent him by himself, like, man, just go. And just him just randomly, somebody saying something.
So have we figured out who this Skip guy is?
It wound up Skip.
And how he knew about him and what he was doing.
So Skip is my son's boy now. Like Skip.
So now, of course, they're boys now.
But Skip was from. I think
that's his hype man. He needs to be his hype man when he gets put on.
Skip from Seattle.
Put him on payroll.
And like he would be in the gym though. You know what I'm saying? But he would see people. Like, you know what I mean? He did that. He saw Ronnie. He was like, yo, man, Ronnie is like he in the locker room, right? Like against all these people, like, yo, Ronnie. And they like, who is Ronnie? And who is you?
This guy needs to be a manager. He needs to be a fight manager when he needs to be.
So so the times before that, man, we would struggle. Like I would just not eat. You know what I'm saying? Go to the store, but we just going to the gym. And I remember one time vividly, I said, man, I vividly remember saying this. I said, man, we ain't going to the strip. We here for one reason only. Right. I said, but if you do this right, you'll be here all the time. I said, don't even worry about going to the strip.
The distractions and all that.
Because this is his first time in Vegas, and you seeing the buildings. And I said, but if we do this right, you'll never have to worry about. You know what I'm saying? That you'll be out here all the time. This is where you'll be. and it came to fruition. So
That's beautiful,
like it's funny because I always say words work magic. Like so, it's important that you know what I'm saying, you speak life and you speak stuff into existence.
Ronnie, that's beautiful, man. We definitely got to do a collaboration between Outrun and Go Be Great.
Yes,
I appreciate it. Do you wanna like do your social media and put all that out so people can find you?
Man, please follow at Go Be Great on Purpose on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, or you can follow me at Ronnie Austion, AUSTION 28 on Instagram, or Ronnie Austin on Facebook. You know, all that stuff. I'm sure he probably know how to.
Yeah, I'm gonna add all the links in the description, man. But
yeah, you know, I appreciate it, man. If you GoBeGreatOnPurpose.com is the website. You can get all the merchandise. You can get bracelets. You can get T-shirts. You can get masks. You can get notebooks. You can get
you're making me look bad because all the stuff you put out, I'm like, dude, I need to be doing what Ronnie's doing, man.
You can get the gaiters. I know a lot. I usually have the gaiter on because the gaiter is so much easier than the mask and it's more comfortable. You don't have to.
Oh, is that the thing that goes around the whole neck? You just pull it up.
Just pull it up. It's called a gaiter. Yeah, I usually just had those.
You've got those? Okay.
I got those.
Okay.
The gators are much more comfortable. It's
and you just slip it down when it's done.
Slip it down and slip it up. You don't have to worry about this pulling on your ears or whatever.
I feel like it's gonna be around for a while, man. It ain't going nowhere. So
that's why I went and invested. I'm like, I might as well. It's gonna be here. So
absolutely, Ronnie. Thanks again, man. I'll have you back on soon, man.
I
appreciate it.
Appreciate
it was
it,
beautiful.
Man.
Thank you so much, man.
All right.